those who embrace the vision but don't participate in it. Now here's the scary part. Okay, the first thing is kind of people that are outside of this spiritual initiative. These people that are outside and they're looking in and they're in opposition to what God's doing in the life of our church and in our lives as individuals. But you know, there's also this group, and many times we see it in churches all across our country today, where the church is at work and the church is alive and the church is moving and embracing the vision that God's called us to embrace. And it's just really great things happening. And then you have those that seemingly embrace the vision, but they're just kind of sitting on the sidelines, not really doing anything. And see, we see this in this passage here. There will be those that embrace the vision that say, yeah, I'm kind of all for that vision thing that Pastor David talks about, but you know, their actions don't really reveal that. And so here's what we need to understand is that as someone that is a part of our church, that if we find ourselves as one of those that is sitting on the sidelines and we're not really involved, then the question that we might need to ask is, what's the problem? I mean, why is it that we would not be a part of something that God's at work in? I mean, if God is laying out this huge, remarkable spiritual initiative and He's just crying out to His people and saying, here, just run with this. Why would we as the church not recognize that as God? And if we recognize that as God, then why would we not want to be a part of that? Why would we not want to be a part of what God is doing? I do want to be a part. And many of you want to be a part. And many of you have even said over the last couple of weeks, Pastor David, I'm in. I'm all in. And that's awesome. We need to understand that. But there is this danger that it's where that whole little saying comes that 20% of the people do 80% of the work. You just have some people that are sitting on the sidelines. And maybe that's you today. And if that's you, that's okay. Today's a new day, right? And so here's where we're at. In chapter 3, when we get to chapter 3, we see this amazing list of all these individuals. And the thing that's so inspiring about this list, this chapter 3 that we see, is the diversity of the people that are involved. It's amazing to me as you read through chapter 3. Here's what we see. We see priests that were doing the work. We see craftsmen that were doing the work. We see city officials, servants, security guards. We see business leaders. We see bachelors. We see men and women. We see goldsmiths. We see people that deal in perfume that are all busy doing the work that God has called them to do. And I think about, this is one of the things that's so exciting to me about Crosspoint Church is the diversity of people that God has brought to this place to accomplish the work here in Valdosta that He's called us to do. I'm all about some diversity now. And I love it because the thing is there are just certain things that I am just not capable of doing. And some of you have been brought here for those reasons, for that part of the whole vision that God has called us to be. And so as I look in this text, chapter 3, one of the things I see that just scares me to death is despite the diversity, in other words, people coming into the church with all these spiritual gifts, with all these talents that God has given them, they're bringing it into the church and they're just not using them.